Welcome back to the Pitching Powerhouse podcast, or maybe you're watching on YouTube with my very beautiful, very wonderful special guest, Mackenzie Gaston. She is the founder of 1AM Management, and we have kind of a funny way that we know each other. My kids, who are now 12 and 14, I met Mackenzie because she was referred to me when she moved to Los Angeles to be our nanny. And she was incredible. And this is what happens when you hire driven, motivated, hardworking people. They leave and they go do incredible things. So I am so grateful that we have stayed connected all these years, and you have been such an integral part of my kids' lives and got the best pictures of their childhood from you because you were with them all the time. And I just want to say welcome to the Pitching Powerhouse podcast. I am so excited that you're here and you get to share your business with my audience. How are you?
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited. It's my first podcast.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I've gone to podcast shoots, but with my influencers, but never been on one.
Well, let's get you out there more, because you have a lot to share. I mean, you've done something honestly like mind-blowing, and really just, I hope that you're so proud of yourself. We're going to talk about imposter syndrome in a minute, because I know that it comes up for all of us. But before we dive into like the nitty gritty of what your, how you help your influencers and how you can help our audience understand what your business is about, can you tell, besides being a nanny to the wonderful Burson boys, can you tell us a little bit about your background and kind of how you got started in influencer management?
Yeah. So I've done some sort of social media, something basically my entire life. So in high school and middle school, I was filming YouTube videos and found a media company, stayed in contact with them, got an internship.
What were your videos about?
Just random stuff, like whatever we were filming in 2010, but it was like 2008, 2006, 2007. So whatever we were filming then, like music videos and random comedy videos and whatever you would film. It's like the iCarly era.
Okay.
Yeah, if you remember that. And then just throughout the years, just different, I worked and did social with different brands and companies. I ran the social and all the digital marketing for 2 clubs in Vegas. Did the social for Headspace, which is the app. Just worked on their France and Germany accounts, but I've just done all kinds of different social jobs. And then during the pandemic, I launched my own company because I was just too bored. Needed something to do.
Yeah. So you launched 1AM Management, and your niche has been this really in demand group, which we call kind of the Western world. And these beautiful kind of, like, you could imagine them as, I mean, for me, I watch Yellowstone, so I hear them as like the Buckle Bunnies. Like, I don't, that's not like an offense of anything, but they're beautiful and stylish. And it's a very, because of these shows that have gotten so popular, they're a very in-demand group. And it's like, if brands want to reach this target demographic, it's like they have to get to you. You know, you're it. So how did you get drawn into this Western world? You know, how did you decide to kind of build your career around it?
Yeah. So just with scouting talent, I was on TikTok because that was blowing up during the pandemic. And I knew there was a ton of talent there that didn't have management, as opposed to Instagram, which was kind of oversaturated. I came across one person who was in the Western world on accident. And that person ended up getting a ton of followers, and their followers that were other influencers. And it's a very niche industry. So once you have like the biggest, everyone else wants to follow you. And then I ended up getting everyone, which is really, really cool. Our majority of the Western world. And then their friends of their friends and their friends of their friends all recommended each other, which is really, really cool. So that's kind of how I got into that. I was on accident, which is, I feel like how most things go.
Yeah, you kind of fall into it, but it's having that awareness that this is something you should be paying attention to. Like, you know, you were on TikTok, you've always been in social, you saw the potential there. You saw Instagram might have been oversaturated and there was opportunity over there. And I think it's really a great lesson in being open to the opportunities that are coming for you, and to just have your eyes open and be like, this is interesting. And then to build an entire business around it is like incredibly impressive. I hope you know that. And
Thank
your
you.
first year in business was just like lights out, incredibly successful, especially in terms of your revenue. What do you think were some of the key factors behind that, that success early on?
Yeah, I would say it's very much heavily relationship based. So a lot of the partners that my influencers are working with are my friends. So I think that's very different. Was just building relationships throughout like living in LA for many years. And again, friends of friends. So I'd say like a lot of relationship based connections there. We also did a ton of outreach. That was something that we weren't sitting around waiting for brands to come to us. We were actively searching. So that's like scrolling on TikTok or Instagram and seeing what brand deals are getting done, or seeing the top influencers, who are they working with, and then reaching out to those brands. So I would say those were like the key factors for staying super busy and keeping our creators slammed with opportunities.
Yeah, I'd say it's just about being proactive, having a good understanding, and because you have those relationships with the specific brands, you know what they're looking for, you know how to position your clients as the right fit to reach that target audience. And then, it's almost like you have one, and so you can support them with many, it's like a one-stop shop for this.
Totally.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's kind of what happened with the Western world is like if Boot Barn comes to us, we have, 40, everyone. 50 creators, exactly, or Wrangler or Levi's or whoever. So we did a really big activation at Stagecoach, and it really was like a one-stop shop. If you wanted to have your brand under one roof, we have all of the biggest Western influencers there. So yeah, that's like what's been really cool is being able to work with brands and provide them with so many more creators, just that all fit within their demographics.
What do you think sets you apart? I mean, there's a lot of people trying to break into this world and specifically going for maybe this niche because they're seeing it's such an opportunity. What is your secret sauce? You mentioned relationships. Is it that? And is it hustle, drive? Like, what do you attribute that kind of magic to growing the business so fast?
Yeah, I would say this is like just such a obvious answer, but really hard work. I will kill myself, and I say this to everyone, I will kill myself to meet a deadline. And I think I provide really, really good experiences with brands. It's really just the hard work. It's just staying up late if you need to, like over delivering. We have a lot of repeat business, and it's just, I really think it's from giving them like the best experience possible, making sure our creators are giving them the best quality content, and turning it as quickly as possible. We do a ton of deals with like record labels, and they have to hit certain timelines to hit the Billboard charts to make sure that their talent their artists are hitting, the charts. And so we get a ton of repeat business with record labels because of how fast we are. So I really would just say it's a lot of just hard work.
I would imagine you're like sitting in this project management role and making sure that your creators are delivering on time and meeting the requirements, right? So a brand will come to you and say, we need these deliverables, we need these talking points, we need this format of content. And you have to, because if there's edits that need to have happened, you have to get that feedback within a certain time period. And I mean, I can picture like herding cats, or like we would say wrangling when we're talking about the Western world, but there's a lot of wrangling, right? Like you have to manage expectations from the brands, negotiate these partnerships, and then ensure, like, what do you do if you have a creator that's just a big flake?
Yeah, that does happen. I would say just with my experience of working on the brand side too, I kind of know what brands want or labels want. I know when someone's filming a lazy video. So I usually I ask them for those edits before I even send it to the brand just to make sure we're giving them the best content. But I have chased down all kinds of creators in all different formats. A lot of our talent goes live on TikTok or Instagram. I'll show up to their live and I'll be like, hey, I need this video. I'll blow up their phone. Mm-hmm.
You can't hide. You can run, but
it's really funny.
Hide.
We were in Atlanta. My team and I were in Atlanta, I want to say 3, maybe 4 weeks ago. And one of our creators had like 5 videos due that night. We saw she was on live. So I went on live myself. First time ever on live. I requested to go into her live. And so it was both of our faces together. And I was like, girl, we're all here. We're waiting for your videos. And she was like, okay, I'm getting off right now. It was sweet and funny. But yeah, we kind of do whatever it takes. I make a joke that I'm like willing. I'll show up at your door if there's a campaign that needs to get turned in. So we kind of do just, again, whatever it takes. But yeah, occasionally it happens. And if there's a creator who can't turn in a video, we're just not hearing back from them, the labels, or that's usually the ones that have the quick turnarounds or the labels. Otherwise, with brands or labels, whoever, we can provide them like an option if they need someone else.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
Alternative, I guess.
Yeah. And I think from the brand's perspective, because that's where I would come in with my clients trying to find these right partnerships, we appreciate that there is a very conscientious manager and they're ensuring that they're hitting deadlines. The talking points are set. The content goes live when it's supposed to, once it's, all approvals have been met, because I would say in the world of PR, that is probably the bumpiest part of what we do. I mean, we all know PR is like out of our hands and you hope something runs and it's like, but it's expected. It's always these like, we're paying you and we have these certain expectations. And when it doesn't go live or it's missing, like one of the things that happens quite a bit is it's missing the like partner collaboration,
the FTC
aspect. Yeah. Or not just that. So what she's referring to is the, revealing that this is an ad and you're getting paid for it. And that's a Federal Trade Commission requirement. So there's truth in advertising. But I'm talking about like collaborating on, let's say, I think it's like an Instagram post or Facebook post.
Got it.
Tagging it so that the brand can whitelist and run ads against it. And it looks like it's coming from your creators. So we've had people that will post the content. It'll get tons of engagement, which is great. But they forgot to tag and they can't retroactively tag. So they would have to delete and repost so that the company can run ads against it. And that's like incredibly frustrating because there's all this traction that's now lost. Yeah. So it's really like, there's just all these little like nuances that you figure out as you go. What are some of the things that you're like, oh man, I wish someone had told me that when I first started?
That's a great question. I feel like I learn something new every single day. I'm trying to think of something specific, but it really just working in social media. And it's the same thing with PR. It changes every single day, all the time. So I don't know if I could pinpoint something specifically because it's constant. There's always something new that's changing and that you have to adapt to.
You have to adapt to it, or you have to adapt your retainer agreement to it so you can protect yourself from certain things that come up and you would like never know unless you lived through it. We have I have an agency accelerator program where I teach people how to grow and scale their own agencies, and typically they're social media, digital marketing, PR, and we have a retainer agreement template in there, and it is from my 20 years of working in PR and all the like, oh crap, I never imagined that would happen. Put it in the contract to like protect, it's just the eventualities that you're protecting against. So it's nice to like have that in place so that you're protected from things that you never could have even, imagined.
Yeah.
What
Same thing on my end.
Yeah.
We're always updating our contract.
Because you're like, okay. Yeah. Well, that's a new one.
Yep. Always.
Yeah. It never, like, you're dealing with people and it just
when you're in a relationship-based business, there's always going to be bumps. Always. Because you're working with all different kinds of people. So yeah, definitely contracts are king.
Contracts are king. How do you find the influencers that you work with? what do you kind of look for? And maybe like if you're looking for like gems, diamonds in the rough, is it mass numbers? Like what makes a really great creator that you would want to, bring into your agency and be known for like their growth and their visibility?
Yeah. Well, I'm really proud to say, what's really exciting is I would say 80% of our talent are referrals. So nice. We get so many DMs and emails and, website submissions for talent wanting to work with us. So I'd say like majority are referrals. Now when we're scouting talent, we're really looking for like virality, high engagement. Wouldn't say followers. Some of our highest paid talent are our smallest. It's really about high quality content. So our creators who are really taking the extra time to make very beautifully curated content are probably our highest paid. So right now we've transitioned into looking for more lifestyle creators and not necessarily looking for the highest followers. We're looking for a really good engaged audience in their followers. Mm-hmm.
So engagement is more important than like a vanity metric.
Yes. Yeah. And I feel like that's the same thing for PR too. You're wanting to convert as many people as possible to sales or just visibility, brand awareness. So yeah, very, very important is engagement over followers.
Yeah, definitely. What are you reporting in your, do you provide post partnership metrics, a report? Or is it included in your media kit for each influencer, like what their campaign successes have looked like? Like what metrics are you reporting, or what metrics should brands be aware of in terms of a good partnership or one that's sort of flat?
Yeah, every single campaign is completely different. So it really depends on what the goal is of the campaign. So I would say typically with food companies, like large fast food restaurants, they're just wanting brand awareness. So that's just views, engagement, clicks, whatever that looks like. I would say for my clothing or beauty products, they're wanting clicks, just sales numbers. So whether that's a promo code or a link in bio with a trackable link to see how many people are clicking, how much like conversions, I would say that's how you really track success. So for those things, brands either provide us a promo code that they can track the sales on, or they have a link that they send to us to include in the link in bio or, on a story, for example.
UTM link.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. I would say those are great for tracking.
Yeah. And so a UTM link is like a custom link that is attributed to that influencer or that campaign. And then it has its own metrics that come along with it. A link in bio, that's like a big deal, Oh,
yeah.
We would always, you got to pay a lot of money for a link in bio because you're taking over that valuable real estate.
Yeah. We usually do it
a lot.
I was just gonna say, we usually do it 7 days. We do 7-day increments for pay on that.
What does that typically cost as an enhancement to like a campaign?
It could be anything. It depends on everything from the creator side, but it could be anything from, $500 for 7 days to like 10,000 for 7 days. Just really depends on the followers. We have some that have like 8 million followers and they'd probably be on the higher end of that. So yeah.
What are brands looking for these days that is kind of like newer or different? Let's say back in the day when this all kind of started, they were looking for stories with a swipe up, which I'm dating myself. Now it's a link sticker. They were looking for a post feed to sit in the grid for at least a month, exclusivity for a certain period of time before and after, so that there's no competing brands within that, kind of real estate on the feed, the grid. And then, seeding a promo code, what's like the new thing that brands are like, I want a TikTok video, I want a TikTok live, like, what are they looking for now?
Yeah, I would say TikTok is just so huge and I feel like it's not stopping anytime soon. Yeah. I would say the majority of our deals are TikTok. We did a campaign this morning with Raising Cane's and they always do a TikTok reposted to Reels. And we're seeing that a ton. it's really like low lift for the creator because they only have to make one piece of content. But then the brand gets it posted twice. So it's super easy. It's something that we're seeing a ton. I did see exclusivity a lot more in the beginning of 1 a.m. So more like 2019. We're seeing that a lot less now, which I thought I would be seeing it more with like more and more brands wanting to advertise. But seeing that a lot less now, actually.
Oh, that's interesting to me, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Some of my the products that I represent, you would only have one, like a breast pump or like a stroller or a car seat, gear. So it's like somebody's out there and they're saying, I love this product. It's so incredible. And then 4 days later, they're like, I love this one. And you're going, it's inauthentic because you just said, but like food or,
you crave something new every day.
Yeah, it makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. So that's not a surprise, but it's kind of cool to know that what I see that as is brands recognizing that these creators are earning a living by monetizing their presence, by monetizing their following. And that's their income. That's their living. They've built this audience. They should be paid for it. And when you ask for exclusivity, you're basically saying like, you're not able to work with any of these other potential clients if they are similar to us, and therefore they're limiting their income potential. So the brand would have to pay more to lock out any competitor. So they probably want access to these influencers and they just don't really care if it's exclusive or not.
Yeah, so we really only see it with long-term sponsors now, which makes sense because if you're using a product for, a year's span, they're paying for an entire year, 12 months. So they want that spot, but that's really the only time we're seeing it.
Yeah. Let's talk about imposter syndrome, because this comes up a lot for the members of my community. And it has come up a lot for me. Do you feel imposter syndrome? When, how do you handle it? Do you text your friend Jen and have a little heart to heart? Like, how do you deal? When do you notice it creeps up? Like, and how do you handle it?
Yeah, I experience imposter syndrome every single day. I know we had like a sweet moment and I just appreciated all of your kind words and encouragement. And I think just when you're so zoomed in, you that's when you see it. And I'm like zooming out. It's like I'm flying to Nashville tomorrow for an ACM award. And then we have a Spotify event tomorrow night. And then I have a really big meeting with a potential super large creator on Wednesday. So I'm like trying to, I try to zoom out and see like the big picture of like, we have a lot of growth. We're in the middle of a really big partnership. So there's a lot of like, it's really hard for me. There's a lot of really exciting things I have going on, but then just in the middle of the day, I feel like I see what another management's doing or all the brand deals other creators have that my creators don't. And then I'm like, am I not doing the best? Or I see an event and it's like, how did I not get any creators invited to this event? I had no idea it even existed. So it really depends on the hour of the day, I would say. I try to not be so much in the microscope and, see things big picture. But it's hard.
Well, it's really hard. And one of the things that I said, because this has helped me a lot, is really understanding that when that feeling creeps up, it's usually when you're doing something new. You're growing as a person. You're growing as a business owner. And it's like uncharted territory. And you're kind of like, I don't really even know what I'm doing. But you've used everything that you have within you to get you here. And you've learned a ton along the way. And I think just wanted to also note that you say you learn something every single day. That is having a growth mindset. And that is incredibly important as a business owner. It's really hard to grow a business with an industry that's changing all the time when you come into it and you're like, I already know everything, or my way is the best way, or this is how we do things. We've always done it this way. Well, the industry is going to just leave you in the dust, right? So you have a growth mindset, which means you're willing to learn, you're open. And it means that, you have these moments where it's something new and it's something different. And so you're like, I've never done this. And I'm like, who am I? Or they're going to find me out. And you have all of those skills to figure it out, and to move forward and be well positioned to be, the head of your business and also like an industry leader in this very specific niche that you're very, very known for. So I've always said, like, give yourself a hug, because it means you're doing hard things and you're growing as a person and as a business owner. And that is to be celebrated. So I just wanted to put that out there.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. It's hard. And I think everyone I speak to goes through it. So I really think it's just a universal experience.
Oh, absolutely. Like I mentioned to you when we were chatting, I, have seen a lot of articles around this, and it's like Maya Angelou, who when she was living, and Oprah Winfrey and Natalie Portman talked about it, and Beyonce had to create a whole persona for herself to be able to get on stage and do what she does. And it's always the greats, they're taking things to new heights that no one's ever done before. And so of course they feel that way, but it's nice to know, like I was saying to you, Jeff Bezos has never in his life run a business as big as his is now. And he has figured it out. And it's like every single day there's something new to learn. And it's the same as when you started. It's just bigger. And hopefully you're having enough revenue to have a team to help you deal with everything. But when you have a growth mindset, you're willing to like be coached and learn and grow as a person, you can tackle these things that come your way. And just know also that everyone feels this way. So it also feels like, oh, it's not just me. I'm not the only one that's like, I suck and I'm terrible at this and people are going to figure me out, But I mean, thanks for kind of being a little open and vulnerable on that, because we all want to be out here and be like, oh yeah, I know my stuff and I'm awesome at this and we are crushing it every single day. And it's like, yeah, like you said, if you zoom out and you look at the 30,000 foot view, everything is moving in the right direction. But if you zoom in, there's always something. There's always little fires. There's always haters. Anytime you have success, people are envious. And one thing you mentioned I wanted to bring up is looking at your feed and having that kind of FOMO, that business FOMO of like, I should be doing more. I should have known about that. Do you think it's healthy to like be dialed into what other agencies and creators are doing for competitive research? Or do you think like mentally it would be better if you just put your blinders on and did your thing? I mean, I always kind of struggle with that myself.
Yeah, I would be lying if I picked one or the other. I definitely think it has to be a bit of both. I think it becomes unhealthy, sure. Because for me, and I think with most business owners, it's like, it's never enough. It's like you hit your goal and then you want the next goal. Or, you finally land a brand deal you've been trying to get for, weeks, or in PR, you finally get your product in the right hands. And then it's like, who can I get next time, or what, like I need a bigger show to get my product on, or a bigger magazine or whatever that is. So I really think it's going to be never enough. That's the unhealthy part. I think it's great to have goals. But I think if we weren't paying attention to what others are doing, we would be left in the dust. I think you have to be like constantly adapting to a ever-changing world. And if you're not constantly paying attention as to what's happening, you will be left behind. So I think it's a hard. It's really hard. I'm constantly working on that balance myself.
Yeah, we all are. And I think that it's important to acknowledge those wins along the way and not just be like, okay, I did that. What's next? To really make it a practice, like a daily habit and practice. Maybe it's a gratitude practice, but it's about being present and noticing like positive things in your life. And it keeps you in the moment. It keeps you more joyful because you are feeling more satisfaction out of, for your hard work. And you're really saying, okay, I did that thing. Maybe that's the biggest publication, or maybe that's the biggest show, not like what's next. You're always going to be working towards what next, but to take that time to really be like, even on my end, I have a bell. Like certain things, I ring the bell. And
I love that.
Yeah. And like if my family's home, they hear it and they cheer. It's usually, and my husband and my kids, and they're like, go mommy. Or I'll text my husband like a little picture of the bell with the ding so that he knows like, maybe somebody enrolled in Agency Accelerator or something. But it's about honoring those everyday accomplishments so that you are finding more joy in your business and you're finding more presence and satisfaction, and not always having that feeling of like, there's more to do. I'm going to keep working until my eyes fall out, because I want to be the hardest working. I want to be the happiest. I want to be satisfied with my business and my life and have time and flexibility. Like we talked about this, the time freedom. Tell me about that change in your life and having your own business and kind of that aspect of success, the freedom and flexibility, how that's changed your life or how it, makes you feel.
Yeah. I mean, that's also another one that's like a blessing and a curse. Because having the flexibility means you may be working on a weekend or early morning or late night. But to be able to spend time with family when you need to, or if you need a mental health break and you just need to check out for a little bit, having that flexibility has been awesome. If I need to travel somewhere, it's like you can, or you need a friend needs you or whatever, you have kids. So being able to go to like a special something for them, I think there's nothing more valuable than that. Nothing. I think that's...
You can't put a price on it.
No.
You cannot put a price on it.
We're so lucky and blessed to be able to have that flexibility. And I think that's been like the most rewarding thing that has happened for me.
Well, pause, please, because somebody bought themselves a house and their dream car.
Yes.
So that's pretty rewarding.
That's also rewarding. I know. I'm trying to build out a little farm.
I know. I saw you have like chickens and you have your dogs running around. Mm-hmm. When are we getting a goat and a cow? Like when?
I know.
When's all that happening?
Slowly but surely. I don't think I can handle much more on my plate right now without like a ranch hand. Never thought those words would like ever come out of my mouth, or that I'd own chickens. I have ducks too. And it's like, who would have thought? But
they're so cute. Follow her on Instagram and go see all these little animals.
Cute. They're so cute. I wish the ducks would love me more. I don't know. They just don't love humans, I think, in general.
Fish.
Yes. And I just want to love on them. The chickens are so sweet. But that's been really rewarding itself, is like figuring it out as you go. I've never had chickens before. I've never had ducks before. But I really want...
Never out of your own house.
Also that, which has been its own journey. But I definitely want to experiment in the mini animals and get mini cows. Have you seen the long-haired Highland cows, the horns?
Oh, yeah. They're so cute. Yeah, they're so cute. Is that like possible to get in Texas?
Oh,
like,
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I have that in my, it's my first house. I don't know the paperwork, whatever it's called when you buy a house. I put in the paperwork that I want to have a Highland cow.
Okay. Yeah,
whatever that's called. So they approved it. The city approved me if I wanted that in the future. It's pet, not agriculture animal.
Okay.
But some mini goats and
that's cute.
Mini donkeys. Yeah. Could you imagine mini donkeys?
No, so cute. And little ponies. Yeah.
So, just a little mini farm. I don't know if I could do the big old animals. I don't know if I could do that, but
I was like almost today years old when I learned that ponies are not baby horses, but they are like small horses. Like I thought ponies were just baby horses. I didn't know.
I've learned so much just moving to Texas. It's a whole different world out here than LA.
Yeah.
And there's so much.
Are you liking it?
I love it, except for the heat.
Okay.
Besides the heat, nothing will beat LA weather, obviously.
Well, it's very hot here too. I have my fan going, the door open.
The humidity, though, is what's killing me. The humidity is what's killing me. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I don't want to take up too much of your time because I know how hard you work and how busy you are. Just want to thank you so much for sharing your business and your insights. And let's say for our audience that are PR professionals growing their own agencies, what is one maybe bit of advice that you would give to somebody who's kind of looking to break into even, influencer management or just running their own business in general?
Yeah, I would say don't give up. There was many weeks where I was twiddling my thumbs and nothing to do and was just figuring it out as you go, So I'd say really don't give up. There's going to be a million people that are going to say no, but you'll eventually get the person who'll say yes. And it's easy to build from there. It's like when you build it, they come.
Yeah.
So just don't give up and make sure you're ready to put some work into it, because it's not going to be easy, but it'll be very, very rewarding.
Yeah, that's great advice. I think people will say no. The worst they can say is no, but you have to ask if they're going to say a yes. So you got to just keep at it. And that's how I built my business too. I'm like, nobody knows I used to be a lawyer. I could just pitch. They don't know. And they could say no, or they could say yes. And if you get that one yes, then again, you just kind of double down and leverage the results and keep going. So great advice. Where can our audience find you if they want to connect and see your chickens and your ducks and your 3 Australian shepherds that are running around?
I'm building a zoo over here. Well, if you want to check out my work, my company's page is 1am MGMT, short for management. And then my personal page is just my name, Mackenzie Gaston.
Awesome. We'll link to that. I always feel like a real podcaster when I'm like, we'll link to that in the show notes. But thank you for your time. And
thank you for having me.
I'm so glad we got to chat. And I'm so happy that we have maintained our friendship all these years. And you're just the greatest. And just thank you for sharing everything.
I love you so much. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. Okay. We'll chat soon. Bye, guys.